Good evening, friends. Satyamvada Dharmachara, Satyamev Jayate. Welcome to today's news desk on income tax, GST and corporate laws. Let's start from the income tax. Pune Tribunal exemption under section 54B available if deposit in capital gain account scheme made before due date of the filing of the belated ITR. Section 54B subsection 1 requires purchasing of the new agricultural land within period of the 2 years from date of the sale of the earlier agricultural land. Thus, where original agricultural land was sold by assessee on 12th October 2011 and new agricultural land was purchased on the 26th August 2013, which was well within given period of the 2 years from the date of the transfer. Assessee having complied with the condition for the availing exemption under section 54B could not have been denied exemption. Next case, Madras High Court. No substantial question of the law arises on ITAT ruling allowing only 50% of the salary paid by society to its society. In this case, where the assessee society paid 10% of the amount earmarked for charitable purposes to its secretary as salary, and tribunal upheld order of the commissioner appeals that only 50% of the salary paid to its secretary was to be allowed. Since there was no substantial question of the law arising for consideration, assessee appeal against order of the tribunal was to be dismissed. Next case, Madras High Court. Sum paid to the clear encumbrances of the inherited property to be treated as part of the cost of the acquisition. In this case, where the assessee had inherited property with encumbrances by way of the mortgage, amount paid by the assessee to clear that encumbrances to be treated as a part of the cost of acquisition or cost of the improvement under section 48 or 49. Next case, Madras High Court. Assessing officer isn't empowered to challenge SetCom order relying on income disclosed in the earlier application which stand abated. Where income tax law does not empower assessing officer to rely on the income disclosed in the earlier proceeding that had abated before ITSC, the department is not justified in making a comparison with such an income and thereby finding fault with the ITSC decision making process. Next case, Delhi Tribunal. Non-industrial undertaking cannot claim section 35D deduction in respect of the share issue expenses. In this case, where assessee was not an industrial undertaking, deduction under section 35D in respect of the share issue expenditure was not allowable to it. Where assessee claimed depreciation on assets leased out by it, since assessee was owner of the leased asset as it had shown lease rent as its income and leased asset in its balance sheet, and further lessee had also confirmed that they had not claimed depreciation on those assets that they were owned by the assessee. Assessee was to be allowed depreciation on such leased asset. Expenses incurred by the assessee for issue of the bonds was to be allowed as revenue expenditure. And expenses incurred by the assessee company from its volunteer fund was to be allowed under section 37 subsection 1. And where reopening notice was issued against assessee on ground that a sum of certain amount consisting of the two items, that is the liabilities taken over by government of India and certain amount of reduction claimed from cost of borrowing, was not brought to tax, since there was no failure on part of the assessee to fully and truly disclose all material fact necessary for assessment during the original assessment proceeding, and there was no mention of any fresh tangible material coming into the possession of assessing officer. In fact, reopening of the assessment was not justified. CVDT notification dated 2nd November 2020. CVDT notify Abu Dhabi MIC Redwood 1 RSC Limited as Sovereign Wealth Fund for Section 1023 AFE exemption. The CVDT has notified the MIC Redwood 1 RSC Limited Abu Dhabi United Arab Emirates as sovereign wealth fund for the purpose of Section 1023 FE exemption. Any income in the nature of the dividend, interest, or LTCG arising from an investment made by it on or after 12th November 2020 but on or before the 31st March 2024 shall be entitled for exemption subject to the fulfillment of specified conditions. Next case, Bangalore Tribunal, telecommunication, insurance charges and forex loss to be excluded from turnover while computing Section 10A relief. Threshold limit for application of RPT filter cannot be fixed as 0%. And next, charges expenses relating to telecommunication, insurance and freight exchange loss should be excluded both from the export turnover and total turnover while computing deduction under Section 10A. Next, Karnataka High Court, second proviso to Section 40A IA providing relief from the being an assessee in default has retrospective effect. Second proviso to Section 40A IA inserted by the Finance Act 2012 is the clarificatory and it has retrospective effect from the 1st April 2013. Let's start news on international taxation. Australia, dual residency person to be resident in country where he has closer personal and economic relations. In this case, where taxpayer lived in the Thailand for the employment purposes and also in the Australia where he maintained his family. Since taxpayer sustained his and his family expenses living from his employment in the Thailand, if taxpayer personal and economic relation being closer, that is the center of the vital interest lay to Thailand, primary judge had correctly regarded taxpayer to be resident of Thailand. Next, transfer pricing, Ahmedabad Tribunal. A comparable company couldn't be selected as comparable if it becomes associated enterprise of assessee during year. Rule 10B permits to aggregate comparable uncontrolled transaction for determining ALP. However, it does not permit to aggregate international transaction carried out by assessee to work out average price for purpose of comparison. And second provision of the Section 92A2 clearly provided that a company shall become associated enterprise of another company at any time during the year under consideration if it meets criteria provided under Section 92A. Once comparable company becomes associated enterprise of the associate in a year under consideration, then such company cannot be considered as comparable company. Next, Mumbai Tribunal, arm length price of the loan to foreign subsidy to be computed on market determined interest rate applicable to repayment currency. Where provision of the performance guarantee by assessee to third party on behalf of its associated enterprise had benefited assessee itself as actual service to be provided to third party was outsourced to assessee by its associated enterprise. But the transfer pricing officer, while making adjustments, simply followed adjustment made in the earlier years, matter to be restored to file of the assessing officer TPO to pass order afresh. Transfer pricing, next decision held in this case, arm length interest rate for loan advance to foreign subsidy by Indian companies should be computed based on the market determined interest rate applicable to the currency in which loan has to be repaid. Next, corporate guarantee commission be computed at 0.5% in view of decision of the tribunal in earlier year in case of the SSE on the similar fact that the 0.50% was justified for the purpose of determining arm length rate of the guarantee commission fee. Next case, GST can Delhi High Court service tax audit can be done in the GST regime. Delhi High Court held that Section 174 subsection 2E of the CGST Act specifically empowers authority to institute any investigation, inquiry, verification, assessment proceeding, adjudication, etc., including service tax audit under Rule 5A of the service tax rules as said rules framed under the repeal or omitted Chapter 5 of the Finance Act 1994 is saved. Ministry of Finance issued press release on the 2nd November. Ministry of Finance has facilitated loans of the 12,000 crore till date under the special window to states or union territory. The Ministry of Finance, Government of India under this special window to a stage for meeting the GST compensation sales shortfall will be releasing an amount of 6,000 crore as second tranche to 16 states and 3 union territory. Today, till date loan of the 12,000 crores have been facilitated. 21 state and 3 union territory till date have opted for the special window under option 1. Next case, Advance Authority ruling Gujarat supply of the catering service to recipient for his worker is accommodation, food and beverages services. Gujarat AAR held in this case. Next, Gujarat High Court authority can't issue confiscation notice if SSE comply with the High Court order for release of the detained goods, where High Court has passed a specific order directing SSE to deposit tax and penalty with Department for release of the detained goods and vehicle, and SSE fully complied with such order. Subsequently, competent authority could not issue an SSE a notice under section 129(6) in form GST MOB 10. Next case, update, Ministry of Finance on press release on the 1st November GST revenue collection for the month of the October 20 is 1,05,155 crores. The government-wide press release issued data for the GST collection. GST revenue collection for the month of the October 20 is the 1,05,155 crore. The revenue for the month are 10% higher than the GST revenue in the same month last year. Let's cover updates on the company law or ERA. Supreme Court uphold order of the Consumer Commission granting refund to the allottees on delay in the completion of housing project. Where complainants had booked an apartment in appellant housing project in 2011-12 and as promised construction should have been completed in 42 months, but period had expired well before project was registered under provision of the RERA Act. It was held that merely because registration under RERA Act was valid till 31st December 20 did not mean that the entitlement of the concerned allotted to maintain an action stood deferred, and therefore proceeding initiated by complainant and resultant action including order passed by the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission granting relief of the refund of the amount deposited by each of the complainant with simple interest at the rate of the 9% per annum from the respective dates of the deposit along with 50,000 towards cost were fully saved and accordingly in view taken by the commission bars to be affirmed. So this is a Supreme Court decision. Next update on the SEBI. Circular issued on the 4th November. SEBI issued norms for the right issue of the units by an unlisted infrastructure investment trust. The market regulator SEBI has issued guidelines for the right issue of units by an unlisted infrastructure investment trust, wherein it has been clarified that the no invitee shall have a right of the issue of unit unless the specified condition are satisfied. Thank you so much for watching a news desk on the income tax, GST and corporate laws. Please share among the professional colleagues who are practicing the income tax, GST, company law and civil laws, and also share among the law student and professional CA and CMA student who is at the final level or who is interested in the for daily updation. We are compiling daily updation, or there is a gap between 2 and 3 days. So we are trying to cover all updates at one platform. We are uploaded also in YouTube channel and message on WhatsApp group. This is a specific made for the updation, that is the income tax, GST and corporate laws and legal other allied laws also posted on the legal platform. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching this.